Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And we are back to reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville.
We are back. It took us a while to get back to Love and Marriage Huntsville. You know, that's one of our favorite shows to watch together. And before we even get to basically what happened and where we left off at on the show, I want y'all to subscribe, share, like, comment. I really want to hear y'all thoughts on this episode because so much happened just on this one episode of it being back.
It was a lot. It was a good episode.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Take us through the up and down, Blair. Go ahead. Start us off.
All right. So we are introduced to the episode. Wondering what happened to Keke.
That's how we introduced to the episode?
Yeah. So we listened to the Crime Stoppers dang it.
Start over.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you have down? Read down what you have, please.
Thank you.
Okay. You don't got to freestyle. Okay. You ready? Don't touch me. Okay.
Try to get your energy.
No.
Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we are back to reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Listen, we are back with this new season, part 2, whatever it is. And this is one of our favorite shows. I love this show. Out of all the review shows, out of all the reality shows, this is probably one of my favorite shows to watch. Before we get into it, I want y'all to subscribe, like, comment, share, all the above. I want to hear y'all thoughts, especially on this episode, because a lot has happened. Blair, take us through it.
All right. So we start off wondering what happened to Keke.
What did happen to Keke? Because last season, they left us off with a lot of things to preview.
Yes.
And now we're like, what did happen to Keke? Go ahead, Blair.
So Keke allegedly put items in her purse, gave a door lock to her child. Then she was caught by loss prevention in the store, pulled all the stuff out of her purse, but told the child to keep the door locked. She was in such a rush to get out of the store that she almost hit 2 cars.
Listen here, man. Bad boys, what you gonna do? I think they had her on Crime Stoppers in Huntsville. Didn't they have her on Crime Stoppers?
Yeah.
Listen here, man.
She had a bounty for $1,000 on her head.
That is, for one, that's disrespectful to have a bounty that small on my head, okay? If you're going to put a bounty on me, at least give me 10 grand. Start me 10 grand minimum. They had her on camera.
Yeah.
Now, as far as we know, it's allegedly, because listen here, we are not Crime Stoppers reporters over here. We're not here to say she did anything or that she didn't do anything. We're just reviewing the show.
Yeah.
And that's how they start us off. And that's basically set the tone or basically the undertone of the whole episode. Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah. So Tiffany had her baby.
Congrats
Tiffany. And Melanie comes to visit and see the baby for the first time.
Shout out to you, Melanie. I miss y'all.
Yeah. So while they're sitting down, while she's meeting the baby, Tiffany brings up what happened with Keke. And Tiffany's angle is, so what are we doing with our brands?
Whoa.
That is her initial response.
Whoa.
Not how is Keke doing? Is she back on her stuff? No. Her question is, what's going on with our brands? And Tiffany's saying, well, Mel has, you've told me to give her a chance and all of this, but when I see stuff like this, it's not in my best interest to have someone like this around me. And she's telling Mel that it's not in your best interest with you saying you don't want certain energy, certain people around you, you protecting your energy. I mean, what are you going to do about this, Mel?
No. Stop there for a minute. I got a prop here because it helps me with the review and things like that. Tiffany, I have a question. What is your brand? Because based on what I see on the show, your brand, the character you display on this show is conniving. The brand that you display on the show is a liar. The brand that you display on the show is someone that's basically manipulative. The brand that you display on the show is someone that I wouldn't trust. So you talking about how did this affect our brand or my brand or me and Mel's brand where you're not really doing a good job basically helping your brand yourself. Now, am I off?
I mean, she's quite the pot stirrer.
Yes.
And it automatically puts me back to when she was telling her husband about how Marsau
there we go.
was ganging up on her and all this type of stuff when that really wasn't the case.
Stirring up the pot.
Yes. So yeah, you come across as very much a pot stirrer. And even when she went to Shari and was grilling her and asking her how she feels about being with a cheater and all this stuff, there's quite a bit that you've done that would have people give you the side eye.
Invasive. So as far as I know, before you start asking and basically pointing the finger and things of that nature of what does this do for our brand, you should ask, what have I done to my brand myself? You know, maybe you should watch some of these other review shows and see what they say about you on the show, because it's not very nice. Because like Blair has said, you're a pot. You stir the pot a lot. So Mel just sitting there basically just listening to you talk. But go ahead, Blair, continue. And
what gets me as well, while she is saying that, you know, maybe Keke needs to get help, she's like laughing and kind of trying to make a joke out of it, thinking that Mel's going to be Kekeing with her. But Mel doesn't. She says, you know, you can't believe everything you see.
You shouldn't.
And innocent until proven guilty.
Listen here, 100% facts. I'll say this. Listen, I wouldn't put it on. I'm not going to sit up here and fake and be like, oh, Tiffany should be like, oh my God, is Keke okay? Because as far as we know, there has been no history throughout the history of the show that they are even tight like that.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, you got to read the room. Once I throw one little gossip joke out there and you don't bite on it, I'm off of it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
But Tiff has a problem with reading the room.
Because my thing is, I'm like, oh, she may go back and actually talk to Keke. Because if you don't join in on like my joke, if we not Kekeing about Keke, right? Then I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe Mel usually have a habit, and Mel can be tricky too, because I'll be like, the people Mel chooses to have a heart for, it's on and off. Sometimes Mel is there for everybody, and sometimes Mel want to isolate herself, and truth be told, that's her right, based on how she feels and the energy that she gets from everybody else. So yeah, Tiffany did not read the room, basically of like, yeah, this is not the person that you really should gossip about Keke with, you know, especially if you watch the show. It was, remember, I think it was some season, I'm not gonna give y'all no number because I don't know it off the top of my head, but I think it was when Mel didn't invite Tisha, but she invited Keke. And that was one of the things that caused some rift between the family, between Tisha and Keke, because Tisha's like, how are you going to basically side and basically listen to somebody talk bad about your cousin? You get what I'm saying? So Tiffany's not reading the room. There's obviously some place in Mel's heart for Keke. Yeah. You know, but even Mel said, listen here, if you feel like she's bad for your brain, don't hang around her. You know what I mean? Like, that's your business. That's basically what it is. Anything else on that?
Well, Mel says to Tiffany she's going to be checking on Keke. Yeah. And Tiffany rightfully changes the subject. Let's move on.
I need you to hold this camera. Yes. Right? and we gonna introduce my baby.
Yes. So she has Mel take a video of her to invite everyone to come to reveal to meet the baby Ace.
Yeah. So yeah. But like I said, even though I listed all those characteristics that you displayed on the show, the character that you played, Tiffany, congrats on having a healthy child.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Next, we see Courtney meeting up with Marsau at Black.
Marsau, I miss you, buddy. I miss you, sir.
Courtney brings up the Black Expo and asks, you know, in general, just kind of how everything went. Marsau says everything went well.
Everything went well.
It went great.
Yeah.
Courtney brings up the $100 and talking about how Stormi didn't pay the money. Courtney says he know Marsau tried to check his wife, but he never said anything about paying money. Marsau says the information was on the website, and I'm sure we told people and all of this.
The World Wide Web.
Yes. And so the conversation changes to Courtney asking, why are you always coming for women?
Let's start right there. Right. First of all, Courtney, you walked in my establishment. Okay, this is my establishment. We've been there before. Me and Blair. It's a nice establishment, a little tight.
Yeah, nice drinks. Food's good.
But Courtney, you walked into this man establishment, calling yourself trying to check this man. you don't have home field advantage.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
check and be at my place of business.
Exactly. Like, so it's you don't have home field advantage. So he's there. Listen here, Marsau, he knows, he's not going to admit it. He knows he was wrong for not telling Stormi the price of being a vendor at this Black Expo before. He tried to cover it up, saying the information was for everybody on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, Marsau, I understand what you mean, but listen, you know you was wrong for not, basically your whole approach to Stormi was a little sideways coming to her in that way. Even if the money was needed, you know what I mean, it was wrong. But go ahead, continue with this conversation with Courtney and Marsau.
Yeah. So Courtney's saying you're
always coming for women.
Always coming for women.
That's a weird statement to say, but okay. Yeah.
So Courtney says, Marsau, you need to worry about Marsau's business instead of women's business.
The Black Expo is my business, Marsau said.
Exactly. That is my business. And it's my business to collect money from the vendors.
Yeah.
So Marsau says, Courtney, you are literally in women's business. You work for your wife and sell hair care products.
Oh, my goodness. It's probably good hair care products, too, but I don't know.
Yeah. Courtney says, this was your chance to apologize. You should have just apologized.
First of all, stop right there, right? Courtney basically said that, like, you know, basically trying to, what's the word I want to use here? Muscle Marsau into an apology. And Marsau, you gotta understand something. Marsau is he's very slide with his comments. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's slippery. You can't really pin him in a corner.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So Marsau basically said, listen here, somebody is going to give an apology, and Marsau basically is like, listen, and when you do, I will forgive you.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
I will receive it with open arms.
Receive it with open arms, you know? and here's my problem. And this is the same thing that Tiffany did. Listen here, I don't want to quote Marsau, but it's a funny quote because it was hilarious. Marsau said he's a dangerous man. You get what I'm saying? Whatever it is. But if we was to take just a serious tone for 30 seconds, what if, like, outside of Marsau, you was actually dealing with a guy that want to crash out, a guy that have no problem crashing out.
Yeah. You
have these wives over here, Tiffany, Stormi, giving their husband this basically animated, dramatic version of the story, getting them riled up. Listen, it's every man's right to defend his wife. You get what I'm saying? But Stormi wasn't in danger.
And that's my thing. A lot of these things are miscommunications or whatever the case. They don't all call for you to get your husband to go check somebody.
Where are y'all? Like, are y'all in the streets of business?
Exactly. Like, you were there. You had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Tisha was there. So what more is your husband been supposed to do? I just feel like not everything calls for, or you don't want to see my man about it. Well, we're just talking. And
that's what Stormi kept saying. Stormi was like, you don't want to see Courtney about it. Well, listen here. Courtney's too busy over there packaging women products.
How about have some discernment in what you put your husbands into?
Exactly. Now, thankfully, it's just Marsau.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But you have some men that are crash out professionals.
Yeah. Who
basically like, listen here. I am a grown man. You ain't gonna check me, especially in my establishment. I will put my foot on you. You get what I'm saying? But Marsau, he just handled it with a smile on his face and things like that. And I don't even give the impression that he was scared of Courtney.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Courtney, honestly, you look foolish.
Yeah, I felt like Marsau made light of it. He cracked jokes on him. Just to, pretty much tell him like we're playing, but you might want to get up out my face.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, listen here. Do you want a drink? No, I just want water. Well, that's fine with me. You get what I'm saying? That's fine with me.
Yeah.
But go ahead, continue.
And Courtney, he says, you know what I'm gonna do?
What are you gonna do, Courtney?
I'm gonna tip this $100.
I'm gonna pay $100 for water.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job, Courtney. You done scared them off.
Exactly. And then as he's putting the money down, Marsau is counting the dollars. He said that's only 60.
That's 60. Come on now. Come on now.
Where's the other money?
Come on now.
So he puts down all the 100. Courtney's in the confessional talking about, it's crazy that Marsau wants to be in a pissing contest with me. I can drop stacks and racks all day.
Please do. Please.
At my business, thank you.
Please drop it all.
Appreciate you for the revenue.
And
like what kind of flexing is that?
And that's what I don't understand. They show flashbacks with Stormi and Tisha getting into it. And they showing flashbacks of Stormi telling her husband what happened, and like I said, what are y'all, thugs? Mm-hmm. And this is not, this is not a white person saying it. This is a black person saying it. So I feel like I got the right to ask that question. Okay. Like this is not a hip hop video. Why are you dropping stacks? Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Like why are you dropping stacks? And if we go by Marsau words, and these are not my words, this is Marsau words. Those are your wife's stacks. You work for your wife. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it'd be smart for you to drop the hair money or like the hair products money and things like that. Like there comes a point to where you have to, for one, you have to listen to what your wife say. Always listen to what your wife say. What happened? Okay, I will have a conversation with Marsau, or I will have a conversation with the other party. Then you go to Marsau, you go to the other party, and you say, hey, can you fill me in on what happened? Mm-hmm. Get both parts. My wife told me that you did this. Did this happen? Mm-hmm. Because I don't like my wife to feel this way. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be working and come back from dropping off products or coming back from work and hearing my wife's upset. Mm-hmm. Is there a better way that we could have handled this? What is that way? You get what I'm saying? Like a grown businessman. You get what I'm saying? Listen here. The older you get, you lose the amount of crash outs you got to do in life. You get what I'm saying? Back when I was younger, I was willing to fight for anything, and I was willing to beat up everybody, and most of the time I did. You get what I'm saying? At this point, I'll be waking up in pain sometimes. And I'll be like, I hope there's no problems today because I can't even run today. My knee hurt. So, like I said, Courtney, y'all just look foolish to me in this predicament, but maybe they're younger than Marsau and them. I don't know. Go ahead, continue.
Next, Kimmie and Tisha meet up.
Shout out to Kimmie.
They are having mimosas and charcuterie.
Shout out to Tisha.
This is my type of time.
Oh boy.
So
nothing like some raw salmon.
All right. So Tisha, they are in a new rental. They're still waiting for their home to be built. There's no timeline for when things will be finished.
The internet's gonna be in on y'all about y'all dream house.
Yeah.
This has been how many seasons? At least 3.
Almost all of them, it feels like.
like they are gonna go in basically saying y'all are house hopping but not doing nothing to the dream house that y'all supposed to have. But guess what? I still believe in y'all dream house. Go ahead, continue, Blair.
So Kimmie is finished with all of her treatments.
Shout out to Kimmie.
Congratulations. That's really awesome and a blessing, and I'm glad that, we still have you here. It was really great to watch her story this whole time, and how she handled it was awesome.
I appreciate that. Condolences, Blair, for that. Thank you.
So Kimmie's new reality, she now has frequent doctor's visits.
Okay.
She's in remission, so she has to see her doctors for that. So Tisha was saying that, Stormi wants to sit up here and criticize everything. Like, who do y'all think y'all are?
True.
Tisha and Kimmie don't know what Tiffany does, and that's why Tiffany wasn't a speaker at the event, because Tiffany had stuff to say about feeling left out, which was BS because they called her. Tiffany said, you can, I'll be happy to help any type of way, and they didn't really need her help. She was pregnant at the time. Like, come on, Tiffany.
Yeah, listen here. That goes back to one of the brand names that's on your chart list, and one of them is a storyteller. A liar. Listen here. Number one, to that comment alone, that's probably one of the main reasons why I probably would have had Tiffany speak, because I need to know what she does as well. Also, with the Stormi and Tisha thing, that's a confusing argument, because Tisha admitted to Stormi, and she said, I even checked Marsau. I told him not to do it, and I told Marsau not to approach you that way, and things like that. Why are you still bringing this hostility to me?
Yeah.
If it's just $100, because that's the tricky thing about it. You don't have to make money an issue if it's not an issue. You get what I'm saying? Because y'all have stacks. That's what the husband's saying. Y'all got money. So what is it about? Is it about the disrespect? It can't be about disrespect, because you have $100 to give. So the most thing that you could criticize or basically give some type of critique on is how unprofessional it was. Not the fact that you was disrespected personally, because you got $100 to give. That's what she said. So my thing is, Tisha already confirmed that.
Yeah.
She already said, listen here, it wasn't right of how we did it. I did not want Marsau to do it, and he did it anyway. Y'all know how Marsau rolled on this show. So basically, this whole tiff with Stormi and basically Stormi and Tisha had to ask, what the F is your problem?
Yeah.
What is going on over here with you? And then Tiffany, like you was basically saying, tried to get a lie off, and Kimmie called her, that's not true.
Yeah.
That is not true. That's not true. We called you and things of that nature. Do not make it seem like we just always just ignored you and didn't involve you at all in the process. That's not true. So I don't even understand this whole riff. It didn't even have to be. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they bring up the Keke situation.
Oh boy.
And
I totally forgot about Keke.
Yeah, people were sending Tisha the Crime Stopper videos. Kimmie said that she was awake and watching it on TV live. And Tisha,
what are you doing watching Crime Stoppers on TV? That's an old show.
Those shows are interesting though. Yeah.
It comes on the TV? Like, okay.
So Tisha, she's just hoping that Keke is not back on pills. Like, that's all really the commentary she had for it.
Listen here. That's basically the undertone of the show. Without them saying it, they was basically saying, I hope Keke not back on that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever that stuff mean to you, that's basically what it meant. They basically was giving a undertone. I'm not saying they said it, but the undertone of this episode was basically Keke was possibly, allegedly not in her right mind while doing these things that she was accused of. Yeah. And throughout the show, we find out what happens, or at least we get a little clarity. It's not as clear as day, but you know, the more we get in the episode, we see.
Yeah. So about the baby Ace is revealed. She's going to pray about going. She's not too sure if she wants to attend. She's really not feeling it for most of the girls.
Listen here. I am a big component of not going places. You know, if you're not my friend and you haven't shown yourself to be friendly and you shady, and when there's time, see, here's the thing about it. There's moments in life that comes up that you have to show that you're my friend. And if Tiffany haven't shown that she's my friend, she tried to get a lie off on my name, my company alone, then I'm sorry. I'm not going to see Baby Ace at your party for yourself thing. I'm not going to see it. I have to wait till we all together. And like I said, it's easy. And granted, the Black Expo is the first one. There was some things that was definitely, I'm like, I don't know why y'all doing this. But it's easy to criticize somebody when you ain't doing nothing yourself. Exactly. And when I say doing nothing yourself, I don't mean working. I mean throwing your own expo. You know, hurry up and be bad at it so you can be good at it. Yeah. And trust me, the first expo is probably based on if they have 10 more, it's going to be the least one out of the ones, the more that they have, the more they have practice in it. So I agree with Tisha. It's like everybody got something to say, but they didn't rent the venue. They didn't get everybody together. They didn't do anything but showed up and criticized about the $100, which was rightfully so. But my thing is like, come on now, stop it. Stop it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Next, we move on to Martell and Chris Fletcher. This was a juicy scene, and I was passionate.
Martell, I miss you, buddy. Thoughts. I miss you, buddy.
So,
oh boy,
Chris is walking in.
What's up, Chris?
To the house that he found for Martell.
Yeah.
That Martell is squatting in currently.
He's renting.
And so Martell asks Chris at the door if he has booties.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have booties, then you need to take your shoes off.
Listen here, man.
Chris is saying, if you want people to wear booties in your house, you need to supply booties. What are you talking about? Exactly. Okay. And Chris doesn't take his shoes off. He's like, get out of here. So last time they talked is when Martell subpoenaed him and his wife to court. And Chris was saying that it's really messed up because they're friends with both of them. They really didn't want to be placed in the middle to have to go and speak on that. And Martell is saying that he just wanted the truth to be heard. He wasn't trying to make them pick sides. He really didn't think it was messed up. He just wanted them to come out and speak the truth over their situation.
That's not true, but I hear you, Martell.
Yeah.
Because I think you criticize your own mama for not really giving the truth.
Yeah, or explaining enough, or whatever you want her to do.
But continue.
So the subpoena pissed Chris and his wife off.
Okay.
And the house that Martell is currently in is due to be sold. So Chris gave him a 30 days notice to move out, but he has been in the house for 8 months. And from the beginning of the 8 months, Chris told him, this house is up for sale. It's on the market. At some point, you're going to need to leave because we're selling.
Yeah.
So Martell actually had 8 months to figure out what he was doing.
Okay.
So Martell is taking advantage of the friendship by staying in this house.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Martell saying, well, what they're going to do? They're not going to kick me out. Chris is saying they absolutely will kick you out. They will absolutely call the sheriff and get you up out of here, because it is like the 40-something day that Martell is in the house past the 30 days that Chris told him about. So Martell said that Chris hasn't helped him find another property. Okay. And he was saying, how do you expect me to find another property to stay in if even you couldn't find another property for me to stay in? Okay. And he's asking him, do you want me and my kids just to stay in a motel and a hotel? Like, what do you want me and my kids? Like, you don't care? It's about the money for you? And Chris is saying, I have a responsibility to the seller. This is my job. Yeah. Okay? Like, I'm not trying to do the homeboy hookup with you. So Chris is saying, Martell, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to move out, because Martell says he found a new place. So Martell, you've got 2 weeks. Time starting now. So what is your thoughts on this whole scene? I know you want to give your opinion, unless you already gave it. I do. Martell is a user, and I feel like he's always looking for handouts. And it is not Chris's responsibility, one, to find you another house to rent. Why can't you apply for an apartment like regular people? I mean, why you got to be in a big house? That's one of his realtors, so he's using his resources to find a house to rent. I don't know if Chris is his realtor other than his friend. I mean, he's a friend that's a realtor. How come Chris can't find him a spot? He found him a spot. Yeah. He found him a spot, so I don't think that's the issue, but go ahead. I just don't feel like it's Chris's responsibility. I feel like Chris gave you 30 days for you to figure out what you're doing. Chris also, let's not forget the fact that he is PO'd by Martell subpoenaing them. He probably isn't in the heart space to want to help you do much of anything, because you put me in a bad situation that I told you I didn't want to be in the middle of. So you've got 30 days, figure your own stuff out. So, and then Martell thinking that, I can stay in here as long as I want. It doesn't really matter. You're my friend. You should talk to the people to give me more days. And it's just like, Martell, this is people's jobs. Like, I know you don't have a license in anything. I know that you're not a professional in anything. So you're just kind of scraping and surviving good times at the moment. But you need to pull your own resources and figure out what you're going to do for you and your kids. Well, Chris is one of my resources. Grow the hell up. Okay. Grow the hell up. Chris is not making himself available, and that shouldn't stop Martell in finding a place for him and his kids. All right. I'm done. Go ahead. You sure? I don't want to step on you in it depends on what you say. I might have something to say off what you say. Okay. But I'm going to let you get your Listen here, man. I understand where Chris is coming from, right? The house was under contract. He knew the house was going to be sold eventually. That's why they was renting it out, just to get some money off it. But the house was eventually going to be sold. He was there for 6 to 8 months. Martell, you have to go. I give you that. You have to go. I think it's a little much to say he's not a professional or anything. He got wines. I think he got a book with his kids. I stand by what I say. Okay, thank you. Right. And here's the thing. You don't even have primary custody of the kids at the moment. So you can't say a house for my kids. That's where you lost me right there. Right? Before we get to a house for my kids, because that's just a way to pull on the heartstrings, you need a house for yourself. Maybe a house that has 3 bedrooms for now. I think that's all you need at the moment. But like you said, the house you have, that's too much house. That's too much house for just you to have your kids bi-weekly or weekends or things of that nature. And then on top of that, you know how people are. People go take their kids. And if I have my kids for the weekend, guess what? Grandmama go get one of those days. So one of those days is going to be at grandma's house. So here's what Martell needs to do, right? In my opinion, because I don't have that much
emotional advice for Martell. He just needs to, get yourself back up again, man. You can redeem yourself. Listen, you don't have to live in a big house as if there's 6 people living there all the time. You just need to get yourself back up again. You're not married anymore. Matter of fact, you're trying to take the kids from your wife, basically. You're not married anymore. So this whole image of trying to keep up, that's destroyed. Hey, I would get a condo. But it is what it is. You got kids, maybe a house is better, right? You just need to get back up again. And it was very sad because here's the thing about it, Martell. You keep giving people things to use against you. You heard Blair go down a list of things. She said you are a novice in everything and not a professional in anything, And I'm like, come on, man. We got all this ammunition. You got Chris. Now the resources that you do have, because Blair said gather your resources. Chris was a resource. That's if you have a friend that's in real estate, you go use your resources. But now you're hurting your resources because now he's upset with you. You get what I'm saying? So you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. You get what I'm saying? So Martell, I still believe in your ability to get back up. But this woe is me thing, I'm never a fan of anybody who is sorry for themselves and just basically just sit down and basically like, I can't find a house because you can't find a house. So what do you want me to do? Listen here. If there's not a door to be open, get a sledgehammer and break a wall down. That's what a man got to do. You got to make a way.
Yeah.
Okay. Find a way. Was that too bad? Did I defend him too much for you?
You did good. Okay. But I do want to put a footnote on the part where you were saying he's trying to take the kids away. How are you trying to get full custody and you don't have a house for these children? You have nowhere to live. How are you in this fight? Does that make sense to you?
Am I on trial?
I'm asking you. Does that make sense for a man to be in court trying to get full custody and he don't have no place for him to lay his head?
I'm in between houses, Your Honor, but I will have a house by the verdict, okay? I will have a house, Your Honor. Thank you. She's not a good mother, Your Honor. Thank you. Bye-bye. Listen here, man. Listen, and granted, I'm not a fan of Martell, but I don't hate Martell the way y'all do. You know what I mean? Listen, the most compliment you would get out of these people with Martell is he do look good in a suit. That's the most you gonna get out of people. Other than that is venom cons. And granted, all these things you bring upon yourself, Martell. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, continue.
Yes. So next, Kimmie and Maurice are riding bikes.
This was my favorite scene.
Yeah. So she has been feeling really tired, and exercising is helping her with pushing some of that tiredness away, gaining some energy. Okay. So they end up stopping and talking for a quick chat. And Kimmie asks, Maurice is saying that, look, we paid, money for the event, so I don't know why it's an issue for other people to pay. And Kimmie asks, why did we pay? Half of the vendors gotten free for Black. Maurice is shocked.
Yeah, he didn't know that.
Yeah. She explained that first they weren't charging the vendors. Yeah. But then the costs went up and they started charging people.
Yeah, to cover the cost.
And Maurice was shocked by that, but he also said he didn't really feel too much away about paying because it was something that he was able to do and to put in. And he said he probably spent more than that in supporting the event.
Yeah. And to that scene, Kimmie just basically if the cost went up, what was the expenses? Because it's not like y'all had food. It's not like the space got bigger and things like that. And Maurice made a joke saying, "Look, I paid $100 and my little vendor space was small. I ain't have half the wall." You get what I'm saying?
Like Stormi did.
Yeah. So Kimmie just basically filling Maurice in on the conversation that herself and Tisha had. But like I said, you can make it an issue about the $100, or you can just move on. If it's your last $100, I can understand it. But if it's just something like, basically, I have the attitude that Maurice have. Wait a minute, why I had to pay? Well, okay, I mean, it's my brother. It is what it is. But I probably paid more at the expo. You get what I'm saying? Than actually renting a spot. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Yeah. Kimmie brings up the baby reveal thing that's going to be going on with Tiffany.
Yeah.
She's saying it probably is just a girls thing, but she's going to call Tisha to see if she's going to end up going.
Okay.
Tisha still kind of has that rift between her and Tiffany.
Okay.
So Kimmie brings up she's going to go get a new yoni egg to help with building her strength down there and to help with getting her libido together.
Yeah, I actually had to ask what a yoni egg is. I didn't know what a yoni egg was.
Yeah. So Maurice and Kimmie are talking, and Maurice is saying, look, it's just a mental thing regarding this loss of libido.
It's in your head.
It's all in your head. Kimmie says, actually, it's the medication and the side effects of the medication say that I can have loss of libido. It's not just me not being mentally there.
Yeah.
A medication did this to me. And he's asking her, when is it going to wear off? And she doesn't really have an answer at that point. She says, people respond differently to it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so when you're reading all these side effects about the medication, where you stop reading is when, when is your libido going to come back? You just leave off at that point. So Kimmie's just saying, well, it can take up to a year with this particular medication.
Now, you just throwing numbers at me now. Go ahead, continue.
So Maurice sets his clock, or pretends to set his clock to a year, because he's saying he needs this to be done and over with, and they need to be moved on and back to their regular sexual life. And Kimmie tells Maurice, if you want to know so much about this, why don't you Google it? Why don't you look it up?
Oh, no. Don't come on now. And throughout this time, she's like, you're not making it better.
Yeah.
Like, you're not making it better. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. And she's saying, you've asked me about 4 times. I've given you answers. Why don't you find out for yourself? So they leave off with Kimmie saying, you're pretty close or borderline being an a-hole. I feel like he was actually being an a-hole because she just finished treatment. She's in remission. She's trying to move on past all of this.
Yeah.
And apparently, sex is a really huge part in their relationship. And I think earlier seasons, Maurice was saying that he thought he had a problem with it because he was doing it so much.
Yeah.
So, it is a huge part. And Kimmie knows that her husband has a pretty large sexual appetite. But I feel like Maurice, I think the question was good. I think as a married couple, like, these are conversations that you can have. But his way of approaching it, blaming it on her mental health, like, it was just all very insensitive and rude. So.
So that's your thought. You thought it was rude.
The way he did it, I feel like he could have came at her a bit softer and said that, our sex life is struggling. That is a huge part of our relationship. What can we do, or what things can we do to kind of mend the gap? And when do you think this will be over? We should talk to your doctor about this because it is affecting us. So,
yeah. Only thing you heard was a diary of a faithful man. You know how it is. Tyler Perry with a diary of a black woman.
Okay.
Mad black woman. This is what a frustrated faithful man sound like. And I hope, listen here, I'm putting a lot on you, Maurice. Hopefully you being faithful out here. Right? He's like, look here, man. I haven't been having sex with nobody. And you telling me that basically we know the cancer is in remission, is you're done with all treatments. So to him, I'm just trying to throw some perspective out there, that he's like, the same way as we attack this disease, can you attack getting your sex drive back? And people would look at that as insensitive. And guess what? In a way, he was being insensitive, but his intention wasn't to be nice. I think people need to understand when guys speak, or when somebody speak, that sometimes their intention is not to be nice. Sometimes it's to be direct and to get an answer. He didn't care how he got the answer. He didn't care in what form it came in the answer. He don't care if it came passive aggressively. He just like, when? Tell me when. And I think the problem with Maurice is he has I never question if his heart is in the right place, but I do question, does he have a way of communicating that doesn't get to what he wants? So to him, I think, like, he has one way of, like, I need to get it this way, but I don't think he don't see another route. And Kimmie's telling him throughout the whole time, at least 5 times, like, hey, the way you're going about this, you're making me not want to talk about it. That's not solving anything. And he's like, when? Tell me when, because to him, he like, just give me a date. Yeah. Give me a time. Now, granted, listen here, man, pull back on your sexual appetite. I know that's your wife. And guess what? I know you love her. and things like that. And it's kind of weird to tell a man to like pull back on your sexual appetite. Just pull it back a little bit, man. She been through some things, okay? But this was an interesting scene to see, because you know it did show that he was insensitive, definitely in some parts when it came to her trying to get her sex drive back. You know, I guess she tried to make fun of it. She tried to bring it up slowly, and guess what? The minute that she showed a little crack in the door, basically saying, you know what? Guess what? Something funny happened this morning. My egg fell out, or something like that. I feel I get a new one. When are we gonna have sex? And I'm like, well, you open the door for it.
Well, also, you know, but Kimmie was trying to remain sexual even during her treatments in the process. And she revealed to him that she was faking it at times because she wasn't into it. She wasn't feeling like wanting to do it. She wasn't aroused. You shouldn't
have said that, in my opinion.
But the thing is, Maurice, he felt like, well, I don't want you to fake it. So if you don't want me to fake it, then we're not going to do it. So for me, I'm just like, she was trying the best in her way. She was putting forth the effort by doing it.
I don't agree.
And by him saying, I don't want you to fake it. So then what is the solution now?
I don't agree.
Okay,
I don't agree. The reason why I don't agree is because if you know that you're doing it strictly for your man and for him to get off because you're trying to meet him halfway, it kind of sucks to point it out and to highlight it that way. It kind of sucks to be like, listen here, man, I really don't want to have sex, but here, come get it. It's like, no. I'm gonna go out here and step out and get somebody else then. You get what I'm saying? And granted, people could be like, you know what, Chris, that's too far. In like the sense of like, you should be open to talk about everything, to say if I'm faking or not. Listen here, if you know your husband really wants sex that bad while you are dealing with some type of radiation, chemo, whatever it is you're dealing with, and you're just basically like, here, I'm just doing it for you, I'm faking it for you. Listen here, man, come on. Leave some sense of imagination in his head.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like that's not the time, in my opinion, to basically just throw it in his face like I'm faking it because I'm really never in the mood. It's like, and now he's like, okay, you're not on the medication, so when does it go wear off?
Yeah.
Give me a time now. You know, so like, you know, like I said, this was just a regular, normal marriage conversation, marriage argument, marriage disagreement. This is not no like, you know, Maurice don't care about your Kimmie. It's like, let's not take it that far.
Okay. Next, we move on to Mel and Keke.
Oh boy, we caught Keke, y'all.
Yeah,
we got her.
So Mel walks in and they are talking about the Crime Stopper situation.
Okay.
Keke says that she just got out of the hospital.
Wait a minute. No. I asked you one question. Don't tell me about you just got out the hospital. I say, hey man, I saw you on TV. On Cops.
Girl, I just got out the hospital.
No. She started, listen here, man. The minute that she said she got out the hospital, she started listing a whole bunch of things. You know, my back. You know, and then on top of that is this, and this. And Mel just sitting there like, okay, you know. Listen here. I'm not a therapist. I am not someone who identifies when somebody's on that stuff, as y'all say that Keke's is on. But boy, she was chatting. And you know, her eyes kept doing this, and I'm like, yo, like, Keke, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because you are running. You are chatting. Go ahead, Blair.
Yeah. So she does say that she had back pain. She went to the hospital. They did all these tests. They still don't know what it is. Mel gets her a push through because God says so shirt. I thought that was very encouraging.
Not to me. Not to me. Not at all. I don't like that type of stuff. Right. Because at the end of the day, if you did the crime, that got nothing to do with God.
Well, see, I didn't feel like she was speaking to the crime situation. I felt like she was saying your overall well-being, like, get this together when you wear this.
I understand that, but to
be reminded of that.
I understand that, and guess what? Encouragement is always a great thing. And you know what else is a great thing with encouragement? Accountability. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Maybe a shirt that said I did it. You know what I mean? Or maybe a shirt that says I'm sorry. You know? But like, we not gonna throw God into the mix if you did it. If I see you on 4K. You know what I mean? But go ahead, continue.
So Keke starts to talk about all these different business opportunities that she has lined up for her. She wants to do a children's book. She wants to do another type of book. And it's just edited in a way to where Keke was just on 1,000 talking, just having a lot to say and very passionate and just, yeah.
It sounded like you
running a mile a minute.
It sounded like you was lying, Keke. Like, whenever somebody start chatting like that, they chatting to cover something up. You know, so it just came off as you are an idealist, someone that just have ideas that really doesn't really take no step towards them and things like that. And it's like this and this. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. But last time I checked, when Tisha had the homecoming queen, or basically when she was being honored in the hometown, you didn't make it to that.
Yeah.
So it just comes off as when you meet, you know how you meet those people that basically like they always talking about things and things of that nature and things they want to do, positive things they want to do, but just like last week you saw them on Crime Stoppers stealing from Costco. You're like, how are you this positive?
Yeah.
And things like that. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So Mel wants to see Keke move in a good direction, and she tells her people have been talking about this Crime Stoppers thing.
Yeah.
And that she met with Tiffany, and she even questioned, was it good to have Keke be around with the type of brands and the way that they want to be perceived in the world?
What?
So that is where we leave off.
And listen here.
Cliffhanger.
Based on what, and just for the record, they put up after the episode that Keke have not been charged for anything that was allegedly shown in that video. So like I said, innocent till proven guilty, and at the moment she is innocent. You get what I'm saying?
I'll say one thing about that.
What happened?
For Walmart, they don't press charges or come after you until you've stolen about $450 worth of stuff.
And this is Walmart.
Yeah. So I don't know what Costco, Home Depot's rules are, but maybe she ain't steal enough to be charged. I don't know.
But she's on Crime Stoppers.
Okay.
Did I just debunk your whole theory right there? Okay. Because if it's so small, why there's a bounty on me, and why am I on Crime Stoppers?
That's a good question. I never seen Crime Stoppers.
I'm looking for an answer. You don't have one for me? Okay.
We will see what happens.
Okay, my whole thing is this. Listen, it's good that Mel went there, talked to Keke, made sure that somebody was there for her. Because even though I didn't like the God ain't through with me shirt, or like whatever it is, I'm being put through it by God, whatever shirt it was, right? You do need people in your corner when you're going through stuff.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, Tisha is just as surprised as everybody is. So I don't know if Tisha reached out, at least not in this episode we didn't see, but it's good that Mel popped through and popped in.
Laid some eyes on her.
And laid some eyes on her. Yeah, Keke, hopefully things work out with that. Based on the previews we see in this season is probably going to be one of the most drama-filled seasons that we had of all Love and Marriage Huntsville.
It looks explosive.
It looked very crazy. It looks very crazy. What was your overall feelings on this episode?
I really liked it. I felt like it was a good jump into these new set of episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to see what's to come. The previews were, jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm ready.
Hey, anything else?
No.
Y'all have a good rest of the week. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, comment, share the episode, and y'all be good.
Bye.